Hello and welcome! Today on the show, we talk about Butch Cassidy's triumphant return. We're going to be talking about Newman's own Marinara pasta sauce. We really appreciate you listening. Thank you for joining us, of course. This is Sauce Spoken.
And we're back. We are Sauce Spoken. We are three of Pittsburgh's own. Today, doing a little bit of a revisit to Newman's own. We are the podcast that details your favorite sauces, dips, and condiments. I'll be your host today. My name's Adam. I'm joined here today with my co-host, Tori.
Thank you, co-host Adam. My name is Tori, and I'm delighted that you are here with us this afternoon or evening or whatever time you're listening to us. But yeah, allow me to pass it to my right, as always, our good friend, Eric.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for giving us a listen. I'm real excited for us to dive back into the Newman's own brand, and I think this should be a real fun treat for us all.
Yeah, and since you brought up listening to us, as we mentioned last week, we're now on YouTube, if you guys would like to check us out on there. And as always, if you'd like to help us out, if you enjoy listening to us, the best way to do that for us is just to hop on whatever platform you're listening to us on and give us a little rating or review, particularly if you can give us a written review. That really helps us out. Throw a like on that, slap a subscribe, smash that subscribe button. Is that what they say on the YouTube?
Right.
We got to learn our YouTube lingo now, so that's what we got to say. Like and subscribe or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And leave us comments, by all means. We would love to
blast us in the comments.
Get your diamond hands and hit that subscribe button.
Smash that subscribe button.
What the heck is diamond hands?
Diamond hands is a Reddit term when you buy a stock and your better judgment tells you to sell it.
Particularly a volatile stock.
Yeah, a very volatile stock. It's all over the place. You got to have them diamond hands and not sell. It's
the opposite of paper hands.
Yeah, iron stomach type idea.
Okay.
Nerves of steel.
Sure. Yeah. Or like a death grip on it.
So how was your week this week, Eric? You mentioned that you're off of Tinder now. I guess we scared you off of last week's episode where we read your Tinder bio, and then you immediately deleted it. So
it wasn't that. It was
not because you found someone.
No,
it
not
was
because
time.
I found it.
Oh, come on.
What do you mean it was time?
I've been on it for over a year, and I think you see a lot of repeat people on Tinder that, I've deleted this 4 times. This is my 4th time coming back. Like,
imagine them coming across you for the 18th time.
Right?
Oh.
I think I need to make a fresh go at it in a week or something. Give it a little break.
I don't know how on Tinder again. I don't know. That's how that works.
We screenshotted it all. We're going to be posting it on Sauce Spoken IG.
Right. You don't have to delete it though. I mean, you can just leave it for a week and come back to it.
Oh, I don't know how often it really cycles people. Like you said, seeing you for the 18th time.
Whenever they join, dude.
I'm glad I'm clueless on all this. I couldn't be more happy to be clueless about something. And to be clueless about all this nonsense, it's bliss. The catchphrase is 100% accurate.
Yeah, I think that's some people just, some people I think it's a thrill of the chase. I think some people really enjoy that, and they feel kind of tied down when they're in a long-term relationship. And then there's other people that, like you said, are just totally happy to be, like you said, sick of the game. They don't want to deal with all that BS. So takes all types.
Yeah.
I definitely think I'm more of the sick of the game kind of guy, but that's for sure.
I don't want to sound like a geezer. You wouldn't know the difference
either way.
But I mean, this is all this new stuff. At least when I was actively dating, I mean, this wasn't even heard of.
Well, see, I think the thing about Tinder too is that it had its golden age for I don't know, a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And then after that, it was it was beat out, it was worn down, and it's still lingering on, and it's just not,
Yeah, that'd be interesting. When is Tinder's golden age? I mean, I don't even know how old Tinder is.
Well, I think, I think initially when it came out, and probably, I don't know, maybe 2015, maybe even before that, probably 2013 or 14 if I had to guess.
Okay.
It's probably 2014. I'm going to take a hard stance. It was 2014, damn it. No, but it had a little bit of a golden age there, if you would, where I think the primary purpose of Tinder initially was just straight up hookups. That people weren't trying to get in long-term relationships. They weren't trying to date. They were just trying to fuck.
Oh, absolutely. And that's still a very large market, I'd say, of that.
I don't think so, because I think for a long time, I think there for a year there, I mean, I spent a little bit of time on Tinder. I haven't been on there in years, aside from helping you on your account, for what that's worth. But I think at one point there was like legitimately a lot of people meeting, hooking up. Whereas I think now there's that like illusion of that going on. But I think, well, case in point, you, Eric, not many girls are actually coming over and meeting and hooking up. You get a lot of messages and you get a lot of, cold feet, tire kicker types, and that's about it, I think.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know whether it's just part of the times, though, currently. Let's face it, nobody really wants to meet up. People are scared to go out to eat, even.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure that is part of it. And you probably, I think you made this point before, Tori, where really now is not a great time to be trying to date,
Right. Yeah. The cards are stacked against you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, it's not even really anywhere in public you can go out. And that's why it's so important for us to help you find a lovely lady listener through this podcast that wants to hook up with you. Or
at least play some board games.
Yeah, that's true.
That'd
if you'd like to come play board games
that'd
with
be
us,
all right.
We'll make a standing offer to that.
Yeah.
We're not going to make a standing offer to that.
We got cool beer.
We made some standing offer before, too, about people having dinner with us or something like that. Do you remember that?
I do recall, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was way back, like, original episode.
No one's reached out to us on that yet, and that offer has been formally rescinded now.
No. Absolutely not.
Anyways, so how was your week there, Tori?
A lot of work this week. I ripped up a couple of floors in my kitchen. We'll call it a kitchen refreshing.
Yeah.
Not quite a remodeling per se.
Not down to the studs, just
no.
A lot of refacing type stuff.
A lot of refacing type stuff, yeah. So we're going to put in a floating floor here real soon. I don't know if you guys have ever had the pleasure of messing with one of those oscillating tools.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen them. Love that.
Aren't they great? They're phenomenal.
Oh, my God.
Is yours a Dremel brand?
It is Chicago Electric. It is a Harbor Freight classic.
Freight, yep. Very good.
It is.
Always where you want to buy the power tools from.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I beat the living shit out of it anyway. It makes no difference.
Yep.
But
is this a brand new one to you, or is this a...
No, I've had it for a little while, but boy, dare I say, it is the real VIP.
Someone turned me on to that one time when I was doing a little bit of like demo work in a trailer, actually, of all things. And yeah, it sold me instantly. I was like, "Holy hell, where's this thing been all my life?"
It is terrific. And if I may, I'm going out on a bunch of limbs here. Excuse me, but Tor's tool review, a little subsection of
Tor's tool review.
Excuse me, but I give it a 10 out of 10. Go out and get yourself an oscillating tool. Anytime you need it, it shows up for
Chicago Electric.
Chicago Electric, yeah. I'll name names.
Very good.
Now, I'm surprised. Weren't you boys both working at Home Depot when those tools came out?
Mine's a Dremel. To be clear, I bought mine from Home Depot and it's a Dremel. When they came out, maybe. Quite possibly. I didn't work in hardware,
Home Depot did a big display of try this tool.
Oh,
it was new. And it was like...
I always hated when people use those because it was always kids coming and playing with the impact guns and stuff and made me want to blow my brains out. So
yeah, true. But
yeah, so I got to use the oscillating tool in a very real, practical sense, and it takes both manufacturers of saw blades, by the way.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, which may be an upshot to the far superior, obviously Chicago Electric brand over whatever D Dremel, whatever the hell it's called. But
D Dremel.
But yeah, so a lot of work between of course working my 9-to-5 job and putting on the old knee pads and taking my shirt off. It looked like I almost took up another second job. One more of a questionable nature.
Yeah, one that you...
With my knee pads. And
your house is on a corner.
I was sweating like crazy, of course, so it could certainly lend itself to some questionable ideas. But yeah, a lot of work, and I'm glad I'm sitting here recording, and I'm not swinging a crowbar.
Yeah, definitely. That is hard work coming home. As you and I know, Tori, that is hard work coming home from working a day job and then working on your house.
Oh, yeah.
Eric, you could relate to that if you actually worked on your house when you came home from work.
Yeah, if I actually cared enough to
works on finding reasons not to.
Yep. Still going on 5 years on that bathroom now.
How's the boss over? Is she standing over you while you're on your knee pads?
Oh, Lord's over me all the time. Yep,
cracking the whip. That's her tool of choice. So I think I may have cut you off, Eric. Did you actually get to tell us how your actual week was?
I didn't really know.
Be our guest.
But my week.
Anyways, Tori, so how are you?
My week's just been a pretty average week. We've been busy at work as always, and actually I made a big gaffe at work today.
Did you?
I did.
You?
I somehow managed to get two programs with different names on the same machine, and so we were running what were supposed to be two different parts, and we ended up running just one of a whole bunch of parts. So we couldn't manufacture what we were supposed to be manufacturing because we had only half of it there. So that was a bad snafu, as they say. Yeah, no big deal though. At least it's a product line that we sell a lot of, and we can recover. So we recovered, got the parts we needed, and now we have some extra parts for the future.
Cool. Then you're gonna still be working there? They decided?
Apparently.
As far as you know currently?
Haven't lost the job yet.
Didn't get your papers yet, huh?
Not yet.
Nope.
No pink slip in the future that I can see.
That's good. I think that brings us on to another thing that we want to touch back on. We have we're bringing to you another Sauce Spoken Rewind.
Sauce Spoken
And this week it's going to be brought to you by Eric.
All right. So last week we tried satay sauce, which is like a Thai peanut sauce, and there was some debate about the recipe on the back. Not much debate. Adam is pretty adamant about the fact that it said to spoon additional sauce on your meal.
Yeah, my reading comprehension is pretty damn good, and that's what it said.
You used a very strange term, though, when you said that.
Adamant?
No.
Well, now I'm curious. Yeah,
I'm
the
curious.
terminology.
You said something. I remember you're like, and... like use it while cooking and spoon or something. I remember saying like, what the hell what are you talking about and spoon? Or it may not have been and spoon, but I should have.
I think it was. I think it actually says and spoon additional sauce.
Okay.
Yeah, as added on or something like that. And spoon. Well, I noticed that Eric has a very strange cadence when reading, which I think is interesting because you're a good reader. I believe. I mean. You're someone who likes to read. I mean,
I like to read, but I'm a terrible public reader, and
I think you get too worked up over things because you don't you don't have a lot of flow when you read. You don't know when to have natural breaks. You do that when you talk sometimes. You do the Christopher Walken where you talk.
I love that.
Like this when you put strange spaces in between your words. There's segments that I have to edit of you where they're like 2 minutes long and you've spoken 3 words. You know?
Oh, come on. Be nice.
I'm blasting him.
It's all fun.
Everyone.
It's all fun.
Be nice.
So
you'll be like Han. I'm shooting first.
Anyway, so for the sauce,
thank you.
There's a Star Wars reference for you, Tori. I know you don't know that.
Yeah, stupid.
For the sauce, I actually had it for dinner tonight. I made my own version of a kind of like a pad thai, a dish essentially. I had rice noodles and tomatoes, cabbage, green onions. And I followed the recipe on the back, which says to cook the chicken, or marinate the chicken first in the sauce with some water to thin it down a little bit. And then, there's those wonderful pauses.
With some water.
Well, because it also says to put some pineapple juice, but I didn't have any pineapple juice, so I didn't do that. Anyways, I did bring pineapples into the flavor to the dish while I was cooking it. So I had pineapples and more of the satay peanut sauce, and it definitely liquefies, thins out.
Yeah, you said it was edible at least, right?
It was even tasty. I would say if I was to taste that sauce or that dish, and I would probably give it I'd give it a 6.
Wow.
It was enjoyable.
Now,
I'll say that.
Now, you were saying that a lot of you had kind of gotten rid of the grittiness too by doing that, which
completely.
Honestly, that was my only real complaint. Was just I couldn't eat it because of the grittiness.
Yeah, that was very.
I think
it was bad.
Yeah.
We all agreed the flavor was, palatable. It was just the fact that the texture was so off-putting. And you're thinking maybe it was the additional liquid that did that or something? Or
additional liquid and cooking it. I think that the heat actually breaks down the sugars and then it thins out the spices over the different
flavor crystals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crystallized MSG, whatever it is. I would still say that the sauce, in my mind, could have been a little more spiciness to it. It was just it was still sweet. I mean, because it melts all that sugars and just coats everything. So,
well, let me ask you this: do you feel like it still had kind of that clumsiness to it that we were talking about, or do you feel like it incorporated the flavors better?
I would say yes, it incorporated it better, but no, it was not well done. And like I said, I don't know if that's a reflection of my own ability of cooking with that particular flavor profile.
Like I said, I'm not changing my rating on this. We've elaborated that in the lore that's acceptable to do, to go back and change your ratings. But in this instance, I'm not going to do it because we followed the recipe on the label to a T, and that was their own recommendation. So I don't think we did anything wrong, and I stand by that. I'm glad that you were able to make it something better, and maybe there's more competent cooks in that type of cuisine that they know to do that instinctively or whatever. They've grown up using that type of thing.
Right.
But for me, someone who, like I said, reading comprehension's pretty good, and I didn't get that, so...
Right, to just pull it out of the jar and put it on some fresh cooked chicken, it doesn't fly. Not even close. So, I definitely would like to get my pictures of these cooking experiments up on Instagram.
Yeah, we'll throw them on the gram for you guys.
Yeah. You got to figure out Instagram on your own, E.
That's what I keep being
If you
told.
figured out Tinder and now you're off Tinder, imagine all this free time you're going to have.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm excited for
Time
it.
to work on the bathroom. Time to work on your Instagram.
Life is only looking up.
There you go.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for the... Well, I guess, did you want to formally amend your rating then, or are you still happy with where we're at for it? It was one of our lower rated sauces, I believe, at this point.
It was. I think last time I gave it a 3, and that was generous at the time. I mean, honestly, yeah. For what a... No, I'm not going to bother changing it. You know,
Okay.
I think I've said once before, we rate sauces, not whole dishes made or
Right.
augmenting the sauce to make it something more palatable.
I remember you saying that pretentiously, like you were some kind of high-class food critic, like, we rate sauces here.
Well,
we don't rate
not a
sauce
lie.
attempts. We don't rate grit. We rate sauces.
Only in your mind, Adam.
So that's going to do it for our rewind this week. Since you had mentioned cooking there, Eric, I think that's going to kind of lead us on to our sauce for this week, something that I actually I ate for the past 4 days. We're recording this on a Thursday, and I ate this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Oh, my goodness.
Obviously, I'm quite fond of it. Why don't you lead us off there this week, Tori, with our sauce?
Oh, absolutely. Sure. A good friend of ours is back in attendance. Our friend Paul Newman. This is Paul Newman, Newman's Own marinara sauce in a glass jar. Nice bright green lid. And of course, our friend Paul, 100% of the profits go to charity. I already went ahead and investigated the ingredient list. Impressive, of course.
Naturally.
I'll let E get into the nitty gritty as far as that's concerned. But yeah, I mean, here we have Paul dressed up, handsome as hell. He looks like a chef. He has on what looks to be a chef's jacket that buttons on one side. Almost appears like a lawn, maybe like a green grass. I don't know. I can't see. But we got a couple of tomatoes here. Yeah, serious fun. Children's Network. My man gives the charity, Paul Newman. Happy to have you back, and I certainly hope you did better than last time.
Yeah, that was the one thing I wanted to draw a little attention there too. Paul Newman's always dressed in some sort of an outfit on all of his different food articles. In this case, a pretty not the most exciting one, just the basic like kind of chef's smock, whatever you want to call that. But
jacket. It's more like a jacket. A chef jacket.
Yeah, chef jacket. I did have a little caveat for this episode because this label that we're looking at is actually they recently changed labeling, so we're actually looking at an old label, which I actually substantially prefer to the newer ones, and we'll see if we can post both of those on the Instagram for you. But we are going to be reviewing the sauce in the old label, and why don't you give us off with a little bit of a description there on the what we're looking at there, Eric?
All right, Adam. This is a nice sized jar, as Tori was saying. It's actually 1 pound and 8 ounces. It's got a nice note on there. It says made with extra virgin olive oil right on the. It says on both the new label and the old label here.
No sugar added, which I found to be nice. That was a nice thing.
Yeah, that is very nice. Oftentimes a marinara sauce can come across very sweet. So.
I love the colors on that label too. That top lid, it's a dark green, which I love that. I think that's a delightful color, that dark
green.
Like
a foresty green.
Yeah, that foresty green. There's a lighter green on the label, more like a hunter green, I guess. They both have kind of like a viney looking appearance to them.
They're mottled. They got a nice mottling
they're like
speckle
mottled
to them.
And there's a nice like kind of tan color running across the top. And I really like just the color scheme and the appearance they've got going on. And it's kind of like a satin finish label. And I like I said, to me, I like the matte finish labels, but I think for a product like this, with the scale that they're producing it on, I think this is more like, they know what they're doing. This seems right to me. This seems like it fits.
Does the jar have any embossments?
It does. It does. It has a little bit of a ridge at the top and bottom. It flares out a little bit, and it's real subtle. We're talking 30 thousandths of an inch or so.
How many is that for our metric listeners? Would you guess?
We don't play the metric game.
Take a hard stance.
1.5 millimeters.
Okay, we'll take a hard stance. We'll do the math later. Let's not blast Eric.
Yeah, probably very wrong.
I think you're actually pretty close because it is a factor of 25.4 the conversion. So that's I think you're not that far off.
I do look at metric drawings and I have to convert them at work, so I should know better than I do.
What do you think about looking from the outside in? What do you think about the appearance of the sauce itself there?
I found it to cling to the side of the jar, very similar to ketchup does.
Yeah, it's definitely got some cling to it.
Yeah, it certainly has a cling, and it's in patches, if you notice.
Right.
When you move it away, it almost looks like clouds, red clouds, if you will, against a glass sky.
I like that.
How you like that?
What's the size on that jar, did we say?
I did say that already. 1 pound, 8 ounces, which is 24
really?
ounces.
Okay.
24 liquid ounces.
Okay, that makes more sense. That's what I'm more used to.
More used to hearing for
What's that metric for people?
It's measured in volume.
How many milliliters is that?
It's 3/4.
Take a guess.
No, it's about 700. 700.
Okay.
700 milliliters.
All right, sure.
Yeah, sounds good.
Close enough.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Blast them in the comments on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool. It's good that it's glass, so it can be recycled. We also know we like glass lids. I find it interesting, like you were saying, how that lid is dark green, solid dark green on the top, and then has that mottled speckling around the top edge.
Well, there's writing on it, on the very top.
Oh, that too. There is writing on the top. It says, 100% profit for charity, and talks a little bit about the foundation.
There's a lot of verbiage going on this label. There's lots of little informational tidbits, which...
Yeah.
I don't like as much. I think in this case, they're trying to draw a lot of attention to like their charitable donations and stuff, so I'll give them a pass for that.
I'd agree with that entirely. Yeah, there's a lot going on in that particular package. You nailed it. A lot of little tidbits is right.
For some reason, it still kind of gives me that like simplistic feeling or something. Like it doesn't feel overwhelming, you know? You know, like when you click on a website and there's like 10 different ads on all sides of the website. It doesn't feel like that at all. To me, it still feels like a pretty...
It's informational. It's well placed. Everything's... The text and layout is good. It's not annoying in any way.
I think it's all important information. Like, it's stuff that people care about. Like, it's people care if their profits are going to charity. People care if there's no sugar added. So I think that's all good stuff. Or made with olive oil. I think that's all, like, stuff that people are interested to know genuinely, you know?
Have you ever had well, obviously, if you ever had homemade tomato sauce, it has usually it's in a mason jar, and it has that collar.
Yes.
And then you take the collar off and you pop
the top.
Yeah.
The top underneath that.
Once you pop, the fun don't stop.
So I don't know if, to me, this mottled speckling looks like they're trying to replicate that. That's what I'm seeing. This looks like a mason jar top. Back to my ring that I was going towards. Which I think looks sharp. It looks cool. It's a neat look that they're trying to replicate, I think, you know?
I do kind of see what you're saying there. There's usually not quite that level of decoration on there, but I think, like I said, I think their decoration in general is pretty tasteful on there. So I am happy that we were coming back to redo a Newman's Own. Our last Newman's Own, oh man, that might have been our
third or fourth
second episode or something even. We were doing 3 barbecue sauces, and one of them was the Newman's Own, I believe just the original flavor of barbecue sauce, and we had to give it a pretty poor rating. It didn't stack up well next to the competition. Now we're doing this sauce just on its own this week, on its own merits. We tried it on just some very plainly cooked rigatoni noodles that I whipped up for us, al dente.
It was like a wedding reception in here.
Yeah, we were smacking our lips. We were flinging red gravy at each other.
Tons of rigatoni.
Yeah, rigatones. Yeah, they were. Well, the thing I hate about those is that those ones are always so overcooked, you know? When they're like flat and mushy like that, I can't stand that. I misspoke. This was actually penne I cooked. I should have. Yeah, not rigatoni. So not like a wedding. Canceled. Divorced. Annulled.
But if you got your face real close to it, I noticed it kind of smelled, I think, the way that like an Italian shop just smells, like an Italian restaurant. Definitely got this real...
You know what also I wanted to comment on that? You know what I really love the smell of, and it's very much like a nostalgic childhood thing, is the smell of Subway. You guys feel that same way or no?
That's a distinctive smell. I don't find it pleasant.
See, Subway to me, back when I was a kid, was like, maybe this is just my perception, but it was straight up good. Like, I used to really like Subway. I feel like they've really declined a lot in especially recent years.
I'll agree with that. Don't they always bake their own breads there?
Well, and that's kind of a tricky subject too, because like a lot of in like Europe, they can't even call that bread because it's got too high of a sugar content.
True.
So yes, I think, but there's also kind of loose. You know, that's one of those little things they get you on, because if they ship in frozen bread on a sheet, and they throw it in an oven there, that's baking their own fresh bread every day. That counts.
Well, I think it adds to the smell, though. When you talk about, like, you walk into a Subway, it's like fresh baked bread and, like, maybe fresh ingredients. And it actually, I mean, I think it's pleasant. I don't mind.
I think it's pleasant, too. I don't, if I walked in there now, well, I don't know. Actually, that's what I was getting at. I don't know if I walked in there now straight up if I would think it was pleasant, but I think it's pulling from a lot of that kind of like nostalgic childhood. Like I go with my family and smell that smell, and I knew I was getting a whole boatload of black olives on a cold cut trio or something like that, I'd be slamming that thing. I'd say, load that thing with mayo because I love the sauce. Actually, their Chipotle, I think it's roasted Chipotle mayo or something like that, or Southwest dressing. Southwest. That one, I think that shit is fire. I like that stuff a lot.
That is really good.
It used to be kind of unique. It's kind of played out now. There's lots of places to do. I've stated before, I love that orange color. That orange color, I'm sold anytime I see that on a sauce. So
light orange, creamy kind of, yeah.
But no, getting back to
natural looking.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, he said naturally occurring color in many fungi. So
poisonous animals.
But no, I didn't get a smell like that from this sauce. I didn't get as much of a smell. To me, that Subway smell is very overwhelming too. Obviously, I'm biased. I made a chicken parmesan this week, and like I said, this was my sauce of choice, as it frequently is. Mainly for what I feel is taste and price point, which I think is. I actually think they may have just raised the price too when the time they rolled out this label change. Prior to that, you could consistently get it for $2.50 a bottle, which to me was loads better than a lot of the competition at that price point.
Yeah, that's a great price for marinara or spaghetti sauce. I find it actually surprising that it'd be $2.50 because I always thought Newman's Own was always a little bit more pricey. But it's going towards charity.
I think they're normally reasonably priced. I think the price has gone up now. I think it's closer to $2.98 for a jar. But,
which is still not a bad price.
Well, yeah, I know. For me personally, I can go into a Giant Eagle. You can find bottles like jars of sauce in there for $6-8.
Oof.
I think at the high end, but still, like $6, you'll find a lot of jars in there for around the $6 price point. And to me, that'd be a tough sell. That over this.
I know. Back in our barbecue episode, I mentioned that Newman's Own was something that graced our family dinner table a lot. The barbecue sauce, I think. Did they make salad dressings? I think they do. Yeah,
oh, absolutely. They make great salad dressings. Their Caesar is phenomenal as well.
Yeah, their salad dressing, and then certainly their marinara sauce was always, I think, one of the go-to ones that my mom purchased. And I don't actually buy it as an adult, but I don't know why that is. I just tend to navigate towards the cheaper section.
Yeah, that question answered itself.
Yeah, to me, like I said, I think this is, honestly, I don't feel any need to go any cheaper than this, because what are you getting for less than that? Like, I don't want some watered down, like, ghost of a tomato sauce. I want something with some body to it, which is, we'll get into with our tasting notes, but I feel like this achieves it. I pulled up the website. Do you want to give a quick read off there, Eric, of some of the other items they have for sale from Newman's Own?
Wow, there are some really interesting things on here, things I never would have guessed. We have Newman's Own cookies. We have Newman's Own mints. They make their own olive oil, vinegar, pizzas, salsa.
I've had the pizza before.
Any good?
It's okay. I mean, to me, there's lots of other frozen pizzas that I would be fine with too. It's hard to. I very rarely do I have a frozen pizza that I feel like stands out above the others.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Frozen pizza is kind of like. I've had really bad frozen pizza, but generally, if it's like frozen pizza, it's just kind of like it hits a peak.
I feel
the ones from Aldi ain't bad.
Yeah. All these ones are pretty good.
Are you saying frozen or take and bake?
Let's say a lot of those are refrigerated. But they're still, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. Like, I've had frozen ones, I don't know, even like really cheap, crappy frozen ones, to me, like a much better one is only like slightly better than the worst ones, so I don't know.
No, I'm fully agree with you there too. And interestingly enough, they also make popcorn. Newman's Own popcorn.
Yeah, I'm curious as to how deep that snack category goes. Look at that. Dried cranberries? Raisins?
Yeah, it looks primarily like berries and dried fruits and popcorn, it looks like.
There you go, Adam. They have pitted prunes for you so you can get regular again.
That's what I need. I'll tell you what, after eating a lot of pasta this week, I could probably go for some prunes. A lot of pasta and processed chicken.
Yeah, I think you're going to run home, my man.
It's usually the opposite problem. I usually got to get it going.
So it appears, just surfing his website here, if I may make a comment, if you scroll back up to the very tippy top of that website, it almost appears that Paul Newman's default outfit is the collared khaki shirt there.
Right, yeah.
Khaki or green?
No,
I don't know.
It's definitely khaki on my screen.
He almost looks like he's on like Safari or something.
No, it's definitely more of a khaki on my screen. I think that might be the color tone of your TV that makes it look more of a greenish color.
I always find it interesting to see what Paul's wearing.
Yeah, no, that's why I wanted to make sure we covered on that, because I do enjoy it. Because that's one of those other little things, like, they don't have to do that. You know?
It's neat. Yeah.
But they're having fun.
That's cool.
That's the other thing I like about, we were talking about this earlier, and it even says on their website that they started this as a joke. You know, this
sounds like us.
They like, yeah, exactly. They're spot on. We're in the same, that's what I feel like. We're in the same vein of, we're doing something semi-serious, but we're having fun with it too, you know, and that seems like their shtick.
Something you like to do, and having a little fun never hurt nobody either.
Yeah, exactly. To me, that's like, if you can leave a legacy on this world, something fun like that, and a quality food ingredient that people are going to be eating for years to come, and you give all the profits to charity. I mean, what the hell? You know, right. That's as good as it gets, I think.
It's hard not to have a good time.
It's definitely working for them. And in fact, they even have pet food.
Yeah, how about that, huh?
Which is really wild.
So, like I said, along those lines, I'm happy to be doing this sauce again. And, like I said, I'm already clearly very favorable on it. But I think on that note, we can roll right into our tasting notes. You want to lead us off there, Eric?
All right. So just be 100% clear, in case we weren't earlier, there are many different types of spaghetti sauces. We were just starting to look there as the pasta sauces, but we are tasting the marinara version.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. I don't know if we enumerated that.
Okay, yeah. Hey, hammered that point home yet or not?
Good on you, E. Yeah.
They do have a whole list of other pasta type sauces, and we had a little bit of a debacle on this before the show. Eric had done a little bit of, he had his secretary do a little bit of cursory research.
There you go.
To find out the difference between a pasta sauce and a marinara. Is that right? Am I saying that right?
Well, pasta specifically it was a spaghetti sauce.
Spaghetti sauce and a marinara.
I always put marinara in the boat that if someone, I'm getting an order of cheese sticks, do you want a side of marinara?
Yes.
I put that in a distinctly different category than spaghetti sauce.
And
this is in my head.
It is.
Okay.
It absolutely is, according to Google.
I think we're stretching again. We're according to one quick definition. I mean,
according to one quick definition,
go ahead and tell us what your difference is.
Tomatoes,
and I'll debunk it,
with a little bit of olive oil, and that's about it. 0 spices, 0 seasonings.
In marinara,
pureed and served, and then cooked, and then put onto it as like a side for your dipping pleasure.
Is this a recipe?
That's the marinara.
No, he's just reading off his conspiracy theories about pasta sauces.
And the spaghetti sauce has more ingredients added to it with your more spices, and tends to be a little more chunky, and has other vegetables added to it, or meat.
This is where I'm drawing your fucking line, because those are different. If you add meat to it or something like that, that's like a bolognese.
Exactly.
Dude. I mean, there's a different type of sauce. They all have their own different names. To me, they're all pasta sauces. And you're saying, okay, the difference between this and a spaghetti sauce is not a touch of fucking basil. I mean, there's no law that says, I'm the most Italian of the group, not that says a whole lot. And that doesn't really, to me, I don't think that's a law. Like, it's got to have some fucking oregano in it before it's allowed to be called spaghetti sauce. Like, I throw this shit on. And the thing about this, to me, is this is my multi-purpose sauce. I do use this as a dip, absolutely. I also use this as a pasta sauce. I use this as a pizza sauce when I'm making pizza. It's just a general purpose sauce, and to me, it serves all purposes gracefully. And that's the thing I like about it, that it's not bringing a lot of its own other seasonings and stuff, so it's versatile. That's what I like about it.
It's actually right out of my notes on that I wrote down as I was tasting it. So this is a very versatile sauce.
Yeah, I stole one of your fucking notes this time.
There you go.
Piece of shit.
I am just vexed as to what Sakuruni pasta sauce is.
I can answer that for you, because I've actually tried that one before. We'll give the listeners a brief. They've got a lot of pasta sauces, if we're allowed to call that. It says marinara pasta sauce on here, Eric, but if we're allowed to call it that, if you're giving me the permission, Sauce Nazi, to say that is a spaghetti sauce, the esteemed nomenclature. We'll give a quick read off to all of their various pasta sauces. They've got an Alfredo, a fire roasted tomato and garlic, an Italian sausage and peppers pasta sauce.
That'd be good.
Yeah, a marinara, an organic marinara, which I thought about getting. I believe it was an extra $1 more. And but since the one I normally get is the regular marinara, I figured we'd try that first, and maybe later, some other day, we can do a side-by-side comparison. They have an organic olive oil, basil, and garlic pasta sauce, or as Eric would call it, a spaghetti sauce. Organic tomato and basil, a roasted garlic Alfredo pasta sauce, which also sounds delightful.
Yeah, that's right up my
roasted
alley.
Garlic sounds delightful.
Yeah.
A roasted garlic pasta sauce, Sakuruni, the aforementioned Sakuruni sauce, tomato and basil bombolina pasta sauce, and a vodka pasta sauce, which I will say I love a good vodka sauce.
Love vodka sauce too. Oh yeah.
And I've had the Newman's own one, and that is a good one. But man, I am a sucker for a vodka sauce.
Right there with you.
No, but a Sakuruni is, and this is actually, they don't sell all of these in stores. At least they're not easy to find sometimes, all the varietals. But one of the ones they do typically have is the Sakuruni. And what that is I would say medium spiciness, but it's got a little bit of a heat to it, and it's got a lot of almost like shredded peppers in it, like red peppers. Like I said,
Okay.
of medium heat, not like a crazy hot sauce, but it's got a little bit of a kick to it. But it's a pepper oriented sauce.
Interesting. Okay.
Little like roasted red pepper flavors coming through it then? Is it
Yeah,
like
roasted red peppers, but that to me that implies more of like a sweetness or like a bell style pepper. But this, like I said, is more of I'm struggling to think of what type of pepper it would be, but more of like a hot pepper blend, They've got some sweeter, some hotter.
That sounds cool.
But
Sounds
not like a
good
Tabasco
sauce.
hot by any means, but just, noticeable heat to it.
Sounds like that would be more appropriate as a dip rather than a sauce.
I think it's very like dish specific. I think if you had, you would have to really, that would be less versatile. You definitely would have to cater what you were making to that, but I think it goes really well if you wanted to do something like, lots of people like to throw in like an Italian sausage in a crock pot. It works really well on something like that.
Now you're talking. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So yeah, they have that Italian sausage and pepper pasta sauce, but I bet you it's like a little hotter version of that. So I'm guessing.
Yeah,
from
and
your
it's
description.
a little bit chunkier too, which was another thing we had kind of gotten around to. And I don't know, were you starting off on your tasting notes there, Eric?
Sure. I'll go through real quick here. So I thought it was a very fresh flavor to it. It's just real clean, real crisp, I said how it had like a good smell to it, even like reminded me of like an Italian restaurant. Very, I'd almost say authentic taste, smelling and tasting for that matter. And the salt and the flavors were more subtle. They weren't like too pronounced in any one area. I could definitely taste a hint of basil and oregano, and I liked it. It was good. So,
What about you, Tori? You want to give us your thoughts there?
Yeah. Truth be told, I am not the biggest fan of marinara sauce. Even if I have a plate of spaghetti, I want a meat sauce. Plain marinara just sort of bores me. And a lot of times, I think the cheese stick is better plain.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, or breadstick even, for that matter. Because I know a lot of people go goo-goo over this on breadsticks and whatnot. Not my cup of tea. I'd rather have it plain. But to that end, I'm delightfully surprised. I was, very much surprised for someone. I don't care for marinara sauce. And I took a shine to this.
Wow.
A great shine. I said pleasantly bland.
Yeah.
I think would almost be a good way to describe it, because bland, of course, has that negativity
Right.
connected to it. So I wanted to modify that with pleasant, because I think it is very pleasant.
Yeah.
I don't think it's too extreme in any which one direction, and that lends to your point with the versatility, of course.
Exactly.
I was very impressed. The serving I got was relatively smooth. I know there was some discussion of, I think I got cheated on my chunks. I got chunk cheated, but that's okay. And the sauce was, it was pretty dang good, pretty delicious, surprisingly good, given Paul's lackluster showing the last time he came and visited us.
We did mention, though, I think we did say then that our other experiences with Paul Newman have been favorable.
Shining, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, most definitely. So yeah, if I'm eating spaghetti, it's going to have a meat in it, or it's going to be one of those delicious Alfredo sauces like we talked about, which I would almost rather prefer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the smell, I got a bit of citrus.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I got a titch of that brightness that comes, and that may be a function of the tomato. Maybe I don't know, but I certainly got it's a tomato sauce, so of course it's going to be nice and light and bright, and tomatoey, and pretty damn good. Impressed.
Yeah, no, I think you hit on a lot of the same things that I was thinking there too. Now, me personally, anytime there is an option to dip, I am going to dip, and I'm going to use, especially with breadsticks, I'll use those things as a straight up spoon to consume more sauce.
Wow. Yeah.
Even a straight up marinara. Now, to me personally, I wouldn't describe this as a chunky sauce. It's definitely more like a light to medium chunk, I would say. And there's not that many. Now, what I actually like to do personally, I'm much more a fan of a finely pureed sauce. So sometimes I'll actually take this out and throw it in the food processor for a minute, and just to get it all fully incorporated there. And to me, I prefer that, but I know that's a bit of a controversial thing too. No, I think you hit the nail on the head with the rest of that. I think you were right on the ball point, if you want to say.
Right on the ball point.
Right on the ball point.
And if I may, just interject some more controversy into all this. What do we call this? Is this a red sauce or red gravy? Did we cover this already? Am I losing my mind?
We talked a little bit. Red gravy, I think, was the official termination for us Italian Americans that I'm claiming full heritage of.
Very well done. Okay.
But no, this to me, like I said, I think the citrus notes you were getting on, I think I was more thinking was just like that tomato, almost like a bitterness, you know. And that's, I think I mentioned this earlier, but I think a lot of times, like a fresh tomato, and I'm not a huge fan of tomatoes. There is something about a tomato fresh off the vine that it's really hard to go wrong with. But I'm never one of those persons who just takes one off and takes a big old bite out of it. I've never been that big of a fan of just raw tomato.
That's me.
And there is a certain bitterness to tomatoes, and I think that's kind of what's coming out. And a lot of sauces I know, especially in the American market, have a tendency to try to cover that up with a lot of sugar. To me, they let a lot of that bitterness come through, and it really tastes more like authentic tomato, and I get a pleasant balance of salt, and, you know, definitely I get that olive oil, because that's kind of what helps it kind of incorporate, like emulsify a little bit. Yeah, I mean, like I said, really pleasant, and I love that, like you said, it is, you know, pleasantly bland, which, like you said, lends itself to, you know, phenomenal versatility. This is really a general purpose do-it-all sauce. This is not a sauce I'm afraid to go and just grab a few cans from the store, even if I don't have a purpose coming up for it, because I know that, you know, I can use it on anything. Truly, I mean, you can use it as a dip. You can use it on pizzas, like I said. You can use it on a pasta. You could, you know, do a bake in the crock pot with it or something like that. You can't go wrong with this. Whereas a lot of their other offerings are a little more, purpose driven. Like you said, even if you want to do like I did chicken parmesan, you know, I don't know how that would go with like an Alfredo sauce. So it probably is such a thing, but, you know, obviously that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Or even I feel like a meat sauce is kind of weird in that too, although I do love a good bolognese. And I will say that, to me, that is one of those things where you can buy a bolognese, but to really make a good bolognese, that's something that you got to slave on the stove for a little while.
Huh, so you wouldn't just brown some ground beef and dump it in the sauce?
I would.
I would too.
No, that's fine too. That's a fine way to go about it. But I'll tell you what, man. I wish I would have saved some for you guys, because a few months ago I made a bolognese that was phenomenal, out of this world. It was so damn good, and I made a vat of it. And I ended up, my girlfriend and I ate most of it, and I gave a little bit to my mom and my sister around Christmas time. So, but it was phenomenal. But it took me all day to cook it. So,
I think it's interesting that you noticed that you actually called out the flavor profile of the olive oil in the sauce.
That is from having made a lot of sauces, or at least tried, you know, to make sauces on my own. And I've noticed that, like, if you just take tomatoes and you just try to blend them into a sauce, there's no cohesion whatsoever. You get tomato chunk and you get like almost water. And It's amazing that, like, once you'll heat it up and you'll think, oh, this is going to thicken. You can cook tomatoes just blended, like pureed tomatoes. You can cook those for 10 hours on a stove and they'll never thicken. As soon as you put in that olive oil, instantly it turns into a sauce. You know, there's like emulsification and cohesion in there, and that's really the key. And I do notice that kind of like a lighter olive oil in this sauce.
So would you care to venture as to a guess on what the ingredient is in this that you may be overlooking flavor profile that's above the olive oil?
I don't know. Is it fucking carrots or something?
Sure is.
Is it really?
Carrots again.
Pureed carrots.
Oh, of course. It's always carrot. I mean, that is a good key to a sauce, like we had discussed. It's a way to add some like natural sweetness and stuff. And that we were
it's smart, and it actually, I think it helps with the whole, like you're saying, emulsifying and like
it tastes more natural
thicker.
Too. You know, carrots just really make it taste well rounded. And as we had mentioned on the Yellowbird sauces, that's why they use
Carrots in the habanero.
Exactly. Well, they had them in all the sauces.
Yeah,
didn't
they were in every single one.
Yeah, they were in every sauce. I remember. And that's, we were speculating. They had some really good, well-rounded sauces. They had some really good, whole, fresh-tasting flavors that I think if they had tried another method, God forbid, high fructose corn syrup or something like that, that would have not worked at all. So
Oh, absolutely. That was cool. I'm glad you got that.
I mean, to me, that's like, if you ask me what the secret ingredient is a sauce, it's always going to be carrot from now on, because it seems like it's something you can throw in almost any sauce and you're not going to hurt it. They're mostly water to begin with, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is surprising. I mean, carrots have a flavor to them. I was always a fan of eating carrots.
They do, but it's easily overpowered, I think.
It is. It's definitely easily overpowered. So in the sauce, it definitely just adds to the texture, I think. It adds to its thickening.
It's kind of like one of my little secret ingredients that I like to keep around is like anchovy paste, because you can sneak that in a lot of foods and it really kicks the flavor up. A little bit of saltiness, a little bit of umami, and you don't get any of the fishiness at all, but it's just something that kind of, it's 2 or 3 layers down in the depth of the flavors, and it really makes the other ones pop.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so kind of on a related note there, Eric, since you were telling us about the carrots, why don't you go ahead and give us a little read on the rest of the ingredients, one of your favorite segments.
Yeah, no problem. This is actually going to be pretty short and sweet. We have tomato puree, you have diced tomatoes, and tomato juice, salt, carrot puree, extra virgin olive oil, onion, basil, garlic, black pepper, fennel seeds.
Wow. Oh, that's interesting.
I love it. You can read everything. There's no rub gum or jar gum or whatever the hell it was. Yeah.
Xanthan gum. Yeah, that's an excellent point as well. It speaks. This isn't even their organic one, but yeah,
it seems
how many,
organic. I mean, that's
what, 8 ingredients or something like that. I mean, if you're, to me that really is saying something, and I think it's interesting. I didn't get a lot of that, like that basil and the black pepper and stuff as much, so they were very subtle on that, which like I said is nice.
There's definitely, yeah. If a first grader can read the ingredient label, I think that's all right.
And is there any other?
Not to say you're a first grader,
I
but
know,
I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Oh, some people are better readers than others. He's up to the green series. Did you guys have that, where you had like color coded books you could pick from? Yeah,
we did. Yeah,
I do not remember that. Probably because I was such a terrible.
Yeah, you
reader.
Probably didn't make it to that point.
I hated reading. I didn't read until I was.
They're still trying to get you to spell your fucking name over there. He just kept doing E's. E. He likes that one. Oh boy. Is there any other literature on that jar there that we missed? What's the thing on the side where it says serious fun?
I think that's the charity that it's going to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Any other? Do you want to pimp the charity out for us?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Give them a kick out.
So, Serious Fun, children's network funded by Paul Newman. It's a network of camps and gives children coping with serious illness, joy, confidence, and lots of serious fun.
Wow.
You can help give moments of serious fun to a child with serious illnesses.
That's great. I mean, that's like I said, that's one of the things that really, man, this just seems so damn wholesome. That's the thing about Paul Newman is that, I mean, there's so few companies these days that make a good product that you can feel happy about. Like, God forbid you buy something from fucking Nestle, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like the garbage scum of the earth, or everything's owned by companies like that. It's just refreshing to have a company that is like actual wholesomeness, They're like actually trying to be decent.
Most definitely. Couldn't agree with you more.
You don't have to feel guilty buying it just because it tastes good, So that's, to me, that really sells it more than anything else almost.
Absolutely.
The rest is just kind of a bonus. Like, if this was exactly as good as the next thing on the shelf and it cost $1 more, I would still buy this just out of the principle of it,
Yeah, if I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
If I was thinking about it, I just don't even I don't even go to the pasta sauce area. Like, I just they have like those, attention grabber, like $1 jars of sauce at like as soon as you walk in. Dude, I'm like, oh, okay, there we go.
Killing yourself with those things. So that stuff's so bad. Like we were just talking about, like it literally. You ever get that pasta sauce, that jar of pasta sauce, and you just shake it and it's just water in there, like red water?
Oh, that's ragu. I hate ragu.
No, see, I was thinking, we were talking earlier about the Del Grosso. I don't know if that's a local thing or not, but we have, at least around here in Pittsburgh, we have a brand called Del Grosso, and they are living up to their fucking namesake because they are Del Grosso.
They're pricey, aren't they?
No, I don't. Well, I think they have a couple of different lines. I think maybe, is Bertolli another one that has like a really cheap line?
I think that's entirely separate.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they're like, I think Del Grosso and Bertolli, do they have like a couple different like tiers of sauces?
Maybe.
You got me, man.
Okay. I was thinking that there was like, they had like a bottom tier that was like $1, and they had like a middle tier or something like that. That was like I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
I might be just blaspheming these companies for no reason. So
can't help you, bro.
Yeah, you're making me feel guilty for not buying Paul Newman's own here.
No, to me,
too busy chinsing out on everyday essentials. Come on, E, step up to the plate. Let's do it.
Everyday essentials, honestly,
I don't know.
It's pretty good stuff. I think it's
Ugh.
just it compares pretty well.
If it's not like Kleenexes, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, for certain food items, like to me, generally speaking, if I'm getting pasta sauce, I'm making like a home cooked meal or something like that. I don't want to get the cheapest sauce. Like, I don't want the sauce to drag it down. You know, the thing I like about this is that it complements everything. You know, it doesn't overwhelm the dish. It's not the star of the dish, but it doesn't detract from anything either.
Sure, no, absolutely, I hear you. I mean, I went on a limb and I tried it once and I liked it, and so I just kept buying it. And like I said, I don't even walk down the aisle with the sauces to even compare and see Newman's own.
There is a certain, something you could say about cupboard appeal, which is something that we haven't ever really talked about before. We've kind of like touched on it a little bit, but sometimes it's nice when you open your cupboard and it's not just like some bright blue box with a thing on it that says penne pasta, in the plainest text. Sometimes it's nice to look in your cupboard and see like a pleasantly designed label. It just makes you feel a little bit more at home or something like that. It makes you, I don't know. To me, it's more comforting to open my cupboard. And if I see a jar of this in, I kind of like get that little breath of fresh air as opposed to just seeing, the one that's the plain blue and white label that says everyday essentials or whatever the fuck you're buying there.
Maybe a little peace of mind?
I don't know. It's something it's kind of an intangible to me, but it's just something I do, I did want to kind of bring up.
Maybe subconsciously. I don't think I can tell you consciously that I've had that thought process.
Okay. Very good.
Obviously, I haven't either, since I keep...
It's wild, though. I'll have to keep it in mind and hopefully be conscious of it in the future. Next time I open up my pantry and I see those 2 big jars of Nutella staring back at me.
Yeah.
Get your spoons out, boys.
Well, see, this is, like I said, this isn't something I had planned to talk about before. This is just something that kind of occurred to me. But I do feel better when I open my cupboard and I see something like that as opposed to and it's not just a generic thing. There's plenty of like inexpensive brands that I don't mind, but I don't know. Just to me, I don't know. Some of the
like
packaging,
you said, like the labeling,
like the Walmart packaging makes me feel bad, I guess,
Huh.
Like I find it depressing.
Brutalism in the way of advertising.
To me, it just seems, like I said, so soulless. I don't know, something about it. But in any case, why don't we get away from the intangibles and get on to something we can quantify? You want to lead us off there with your rating for this sauce tonight, Eric?
I'd be happy to. I definitely don't feel this needs a spice rating. GG.
Negative.
But I definitely think it's
You're not going to ask me? That's pretty fucked up.
Because you and I both like spicy stuff.
I agreed with Tori last time on the spice rating for the satay.
Yeah, you did.
Sauté.
Out of some fluke of, I don't know why, but you did.
They were trying to put some degree of heat in it. They're not trying in this. I was just giving them a measure. I'm giving them some benefit of the doubt, so whatever.
But it's an excellent, excellent sauce. I really like it. And of course, my rating is probably not going to be excellent enough for you boys, but I'm going to give it a 7.5 because it's versatile. It's tasty. You use it in a lot of dishes. You can definitely use it for cooking. So you're kind of like adding more flavors to it. But it is very good on its own. But I'm not going to say it's like knock your socks off. Like I said, it's almost pleasantly bland, as Tori put it. So
I think that's very fair, actually. Yeah. What were your thoughts on that, Tori?
I'm sort of inclined to agree, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm conceited or more important than I am. But for me to give a marinara sauce something that I historically, generally don't like, I think for me to walk away and for our man Paul to walk away with a 7, I think is damn good. I was really pleasantly surprised with the sauce as a whole. If I were to order cheese sticks tomorrow, I may or may not, but this would certainly be my first choice if I did choose to dip anything. Newman's Own, of course, would be the first step. Yeah, I was really, really impressed, and I think it's a great cause. And Paul Newman is handsome as heck, of course. And so 7, sticking with my guns there.
And you know what? I normally I would be getting on you guys for not giving it a higher on something that I love this much, but honestly, I think you're right in line because to me, like I said, this is not a purpose-built machine here. Like, it's trying to do a general-purpose job, and when you're doing something like that, you're not... It's admitted, like I said earlier, it's never going to be the star of the show. It's just something to complement. It's a solid base to kind of build on. And oftentimes, when I'm using this, like I said, I like to... Sometimes I'll puree it a little bit. Sometimes I like to throw maybe I'll throw some wine in it. Maybe I'll throw some more, especially like some basil or something, if I want to kick it up for more of like a pasta-oriented dish, I'll do that. And, I'm a little hesitant to give like a perfect rating to something that I would be more inclined to do some alterations on before I use.
Good point.
And on top of that, like I said, there are better pasta sauces that are purpose-built for very specific purposes. I'm not going to lie about that, but I think in terms of like a general purpose, do-it-all, something you can grab in your cupboard, grab and throw in your cupboard without any concern about it going to waste or something like that, because you'll use it on something, I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8.5. And I just feel like it would be dishonest to give it any higher than that. Just like I said, there are better sauces of this type that are purpose-built that would excel better in any given application, just none that are going to do it all as well as this.
Yep. I think that's incredibly reasonable.
Absolutely.
And I actually, to be honest with you, I was actually kind of thinking about maybe an 8 or something like that, and I gave it just my own. I think if I didn't have a history with this, I would give it a straight-up rating of like an 8, and that half point is kind of like my discretionary half point just on my, favorable memories of this sauce, so...
Wow. All those favorable memories are just worth a half a point.
And
that's cold, brother.
Well, I can't. It's already at an 8. How many more discretionary points can I give it?
I don't know, man. They're your discretionary points. It is your discretion that's in question.
I think that's 8.5. I think is tough, but fair.
Very well. Moving forward.
I think the sauce scored well compared to the last one. It's definitely a home run. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Right on the ballpoint.
Right on the ballpoint, as we say. Did it say what type of tomatoes were in that sauce, by the way? I was curious, because usually there's a specific type. Was it perchance Romano tomatoes?
Tomato puree. Very vague.
It wasn't Eric's famous Romano tomatoes from a few episodes ago.
Ray Romano tomatoes.
The hybrid between a hard cheese and a tomato, the Romano tomatoes.
Everyone loves Ray Romanos.
And a good hard cheese.
Oh, boy.
We'll work on that aged Asiago in the fridge there.
Ooh.
Well, I think it's going to bring it around to the time of the episode when we typically do a little recipes.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
So much to choose from. You described like 10 of them already in this episode.
And actually, that was kind of what I wanted to throw a little tricky at you, because I told you, I said, you've got your basic, pasta, you've got your pizza, you've got like an Italian sausage in a slow cooker.
Lasagna.
You've got, well, I didn't want to limit them too much, because what I was going to say is that I want you to come up with something you could use this on or build with it, and you're allowed to modify it in this, that is not one of those most basic things to use a pasta sauce on. Give me a little bit of a creative usage for this. You have 30 seconds on the clock.
I say I might get slammed for this one, but
oh man,
I really enjoy. So I'm going to say this sauce would be very good to be used as a marinara pasta dipping sauce, and I would say an excellent thing to dip in, which may not come across to, well, first we already talked about this once before, because a lot of people may not even know what they are, but a deep fried pierogi. Pierogies and marinara is delicious.
A pierogi?
A pierogi.
Now, just like a straight up normal, you're saying deep fried?
Well, yeah, when they get that like nice golden crisp to them, they actually fry them. Well,
fry them in butter, not deep fried.
I went to a restaurant that actually deep fried them, and they were damn good.
Jesus Christ.
That sounds like a cop-out to me, E.
Because it's like a crispy chip, salty.
I mean, why can't you just fry cheese and dip it in that? That's a total cop-out recipes.
Yeah, you're just going to straight up use the sauce as it. That's not even a recipe.
Yeah, that's not even a recipe.
That's just a creative use for it. I wanted you to kind of build something.
That is a capital C cop-out.
Oh, Jesus. We're nixing this fucking segment from the podcast. That's it. This is the death of it. Oh, I'd use a fucking pierogi in it.
I'll tell you what. Can I steal East Thunder for just a minute?
Please do.
I'm going to get wacky on you. You ready?
Oh, good.
Tomato soup.
You
heard it here first.
Oh, well, you know what? And here's something. Here's what
so
something.
You gotta puree it too, or just heat it up?
What the hell? I mean, I might thin it down a little bit. I think the oil might cause a bit of an issue. You might get a slick like the Exxon Valdez on there.
A little bit.
I think it's okay. I think it's incorporated. That might actually work pretty well. Are you a kind of guy that likes just a water-based tomato soup, or are you more like a biscuit cream type of guy?
I am a biscuit boy.
A biscuit boy, because I was actually thinking this might, and that was kind of a line that I had thinking about it too. I was thinking of maybe going like almost kind of like we did last week with like a Thai style dish. You know, sometimes they do like if you got like a curry mix or something like that, either in a liquid form or in a powder form, and you got some coconut milk. I could see you mixing some of this in and making a pretty good like curry type sauce or something. Put it over some rice and stuff.
You lost me at curry, but
yeah, I know you're not a huge fan of that, but I could definitely. A lot of those curries and stuff will call for like a tomato, maybe a tomato paste or something like their tomato diced tomatoes or something. I could see you slipping some of this into something like that with some, like I said, some coconut milk, and some curry powder of some sort, and putting it over some rice, vegetables, etc. I could definitely see that.
I could see it. It would work for sure.
I'm not fucking making a fucking curry sauce and dipping pierogies in it.
Yeah, I'm not a milk person, and I don't care for tomato soup.
You didn't even give us a recipe for deep frying. I questioned you on it, and you just said, kind of like the fried ones, with bacon, the butter, and some onions in it.
I like them. I like the pan fried ones with butter and onions, and I'll still put some marinara sauce on top of that.
Fucking hit you with a pan. How about that?
But a true treat was downtown Pittsburgh, where they had these puffed, deep-fried pierogies. And I'm sticking to it.
They were actually deep-fried, though?
They weren't
battered, right? They just dropped the pierogies in.
Dropped them in a deep fryer.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can see that being good. It's not much about recipes, but I think the listeners are going to be unsubscribing.
Your guys' recipes were interesting takes on it, too. And people, it's a marinara pasta sauce. Let's put it on... Let's put on some pasta and let's enjoy it. It's damn good.
Oh, Jesus. This is fucking taking Eric out of the podcast next week, Tori. I've been talking about it for a long time.
I know you have.
No, I'm just kidding. Jesus, you're so self-defeating. It's not even fun to pick on you. Oh, yes, you're right. Okay, well, I think that's going to wrap it up this week for our rating and review on Newman's Own Marinara. Are we allowed to call it a pasta sauce, or we have to call it just
It's a pasta sauce.
Mozzarella stick dipping sauce.
I thought it was fried pierogi dipping sauce.
Fried pierogi dipping sauce.
There we
go. Jesus Christ. Okay, well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week for that. And do you have any closing thoughts for us there, Eric?
Why do I always stumble when it comes to these closing thoughts?
What dating apps are you currently on aside from Tinder? Tell us that. So you can delete
those.
I deleted them all. I deleted the Hinge. I deleted the Coffee Meets Bagel.
Yeah, well, that was a good one, I thought. That was
they're all bad. They're all bad.
Guys, come on, please reach out to Eric for saucespoken@gmail.com. We'll hook you up.
I look forward to having another a fun-filled week, and I hope you do as well, and we'll hope that you'll listen to us next week.
Very nice.
Tori, you have any closing thoughts for us this week?
I think that's a silly question. Of course I have closing thoughts.
Perfect.
Naturally, of course I do. And I think the theme for this week is going to be redemption arcs. I think it's important we talk today about redemption arcs very quickly, because I think our friend Paul had a redemption arc of his own here today. He rocketed right up to the moon from that garbage barbecue sauce up to this delicious marinara sauce, and I think it's terrific. I think it's absolutely terrific. And the takeaway from that is that I think your redemption arc is coming. If you found yourself in a bit of a precarious situation, maybe not as upbeat as you'd like to be, or maybe not as full of verve and piss and vinegar and all that stuff, let us tell you that your redemption arc is right around the corner. You just got to keep the faith and keep listening. Thank you.
Wow, that was intense. Quite a bit of a difference there from Eric's disappointing performance this week. Just kidding. Almost got Tori to do a spit take.
Wasn't expecting that.
Got him off guard.
But I am hydrated now. Thank goodness.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and remember to smash that like and subscribe button. And no, but seriously, like I said, check us out in whatever format you're listening to us on. If you like YouTube, if that works better for you, feel free to check us out on there. Recommend us to your friends. Do whatever you can to kind of spread the good word around, and we really appreciate that, guys. Once again, thanks for listening. Have a good night, and we'll catch you next week.
Much like the bottom of our favorite jar of mustard, it is time to say goodbye. Why don't you drop us a line on Gmail on a bunch of these fangled contraptions? I have no idea how to work. Sawspoken@gmail.com would be a great place to start. You can go on Twitter, I guess, suppose tweet us, I guess that's what they call it. It's @Sawspoken. And finally, if you want to look at our ugly mugs, feel free to do so. They're on Insta, Sawspoken Official on Insta. We really appreciate your time here. Thank you very, very much. Please do us a favor. Share us with your family and friends. Give us a rating or a review if that's possible where you're listening. This is Sawspoken. Thank you.